Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Crackdown. I must offer an apology before we begin properly about some of the stuff I've said in previous videos that, as it turned out, were incorrect. So, the entire time I've been referring to the big bad of this game as Mr. X, because I kinda just assumed that was his name. That's a very standard, typical name for the bad guys at this time. If you're going to call your bad guy Mr. anything, it's going to be Mr. X, isn't it? Turns out I was wrong about that. In reality, the bad guy of the game is called Mr. K. You know, slightly different, but I've been referring to him incorrectly in descriptions and the like up until now. So I just figured, while we're here, go and correct myself. We're on stage 3 out of 4. I have confirmed. Since the last episode, I've gone and beaten the game just to see how long it takes and all the rest of that. I can confirm that the game is 4 stages long. We're on, therefore, the penultimate stage. I've also learned that for a game that I've seen people claim has a punishing level of difficulty, it's really not that bad. At least for a Sega Genesis game. You know, like maybe if this was a modern game, which are generally quite a bit easier, I'd be like, yeah, this is punishing. But for a Sega Genesis game, this is pretty simple for the sort of caliber you're expecting from that in terms of difficulty. Those games are nuts. And this just isn't that bad. Can you shoot straight, please? Damn it, Ben. Damn it. This level is not too bad. I'm dying a lot more than I should be. I'm wasting so many missiles. I was just about to sit there and be like, you don't actually need to bother maintaining your missiles all that much, but maybe if we're wasting that many of them, yeah, you do. Right, this is the worst stage in the game, bar none. I'm telling you that now. This is my expert opinion on the game, as like probably the one person in the last 20 years to have played Crackdown. This is it. This is the worst the game gets. This stage. Terrible. I've mentioned up until now a couple of times the fact that the game's hitboxes regarding bombless pits are pretty whack. They don't really line up with what anyone would consider to be the edge of a pit or whatever. Therefore, having a level that's entirely thin conveyor belts over bombless pits, not a good idea. And then to top it off, you go and fill it with mega mirrors, which are the worst enemies in the game. Awful, awful stage. Theoretically, shouldn't be that bad. But it is really where the game's, I'll be honest, quite few inequities really come into sharp focus. Things like enemies attacking you from off stage, the 8-directional attacks sometimes being a bit limiting, and again, just the atrocious hitboxes on bottomless pits. Meaning that any situation, and there are a few where they start going, can you go and deal with this bottomless pit, please? Just becomes miserable. And this damn box getting in the way as I'm trying to cross over. We are very lucky that up until now I've done well enough where we can afford effectively to damage boost through the rest of the game. Because otherwise, some of the stuff that's coming up, as much as this is the worst it gets, some of it would be pretty miserable. And also that we've conserved enough ammo, or been facetious enough going through levels that we have enough ammo to deal with the rest of the game. If I remember correctly, this stage is it this stage? Or is it a later stage that's pretty bad for just having enemies? Okay, no, this stage is pretty easy, actually. As long as you remember that the cover system exists, because it hasn't come up for quite a while. And also you learn how easy it is to get people to walk out in front of you for a melee attack. I mean, you can take out pretty much every single red enemy in the level with this strategy. It's practically foolproof. You just walk up, they'll just kind of walk out for no reason, and you take them out like that. Simple. And it works every time. Went a little bit further than I had planned to there. That could have been awkward. See, like, Boom. Easy. This section, just kind of fire out attacks wildly as you're crossing. You need to make the room as you're crossing over. And if you're unlucky, the enemies will hit you as you're crossing over. It's just, again, you just kind of gotta fire out wild shots until eventually something goes down. Plant a juke around him. But it is what it is. You can save a lot of ammo there just by melee attacking everything, and it'll work. It's the one level in the game where the melee attacks really will work. This level, not too bad. There's a couple of like cheap points where, again, the awkward obstacles can be a bit of a nightmare. It's just the slowdown, frankly. The number of enemies and stuff that the game's calculating, it's too much for a poor little Sega Genesis game to handle, and it slows down a lot. It's also filled with the flamethrower enemies, which are always annoying to see. They're never a sight you wanna see coming. And annoyingly, it has that problem where the game, the enemy AI isn't very sophisticated, so that it can very easily end up in a position where the enemy sees you before you can react to them. It's generally not that bad. You can handle it with most enemies, but with the flamethrowers, it's terrible. It's a massive pain if the flamethrower enemy sees you before you see them, because then it's like well, damn, how am I supposed to attack you now? This electrical maze, generally not that bad. There's that one section there where I always die once, and then get through it perfectly, and it's like, well, what was the problem then? Why did I die the first time? Oh, come on. Yeah. It's pretty nasty. I don't know why I struggle with it so much. But again, it's a quick level other than that, so you should have the time where you can edge through it like that without much problem. We get another penultimate choppy cutscene where Mr. K, got it right this time, taunts us. And we move on to the final stage, stage 4, which I will be quite frank, I'd say is probably easier than stage 3. There's a couple of nasty sections, but I'd say on the most part, if you've got the quick reflexes and you've saved ammo and especially super bombs up until this point, it's really not that bad of a stage. But with that, I'm going to end the episode there. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'm going to say tune in next time, but for now, adios and ciao.